Good morning. Welcome back to all of my amazing viewers, and welcome to any new people that happen to have stumbled upon me. I know we find a lot of new people during the WIP parades, and this is my 2026 WIP Parade, beginning of the year WIP Parade. For those of you that don't know me, my name is Cindy. I am the Scrappy Chick. I'm also scrappychickcyndi over on Instagram and at Etsy. I do have a store that's been sadly neglected lately, and I do hope to get back to that soon. It's been, November, December, anyway, all the things, right? A little bit about me. I will do like a rehash here for you. I live in North Carolina in a small town south of Winston-Salem. It's very near Lexington, North Carolina, the barbecue capital, if you ask me, of the world, the best barbecue ever. I have been living in Lexington for about 9 years since I met my current husband. We have been married for 7 years. We have 6 adult children between us from former marriages. His are 37 and 39, and mine are 32, 30, 29, and 22, if I remember. It's hard to keep up with it all. I do have a beautiful granddaughter who just turned 10, and my husband has 3 grandchildren who are getting ready to have birthdays. Actually, let's see. The oldest is 16, the next one is getting ready to be 14, and the youngest of those just turned 12. So they're not getting ready. I guess they already started their cycle. My kids start their cycle in March. We do have 3 fur babies. I have 2 little dogs, and I have a cat who is mostly outdoors, but he's been sneaking in a lot more lately, which is great. I have been cross-stitching. Well, I started probably in my early 20s when my kids were little. I started cross-stitching, quilting, and all of the crafty things. I had learned how to do both probably as a child, but never really stuck with it. And then I got away from that as my kids were small. I got really into scrapbooking, and then later into card making, art journaling, Zentangle, a lot of other, artsy-fartsy things. I've always been very creative and love anything that's color is my passion. And the cross-stitch journey re-began right around COVID when I was home for about a month at my job. And I picked back up all the granny hobbies. So cross-stitch was one, quilting was another, and the cross-stitch is really probably more of the bug that I have. I do love to quilt, and I love to make the project bags, but cross-stitching for me is just soothing, relaxing after a long day's work, or just chilling out. It just helps me to release all the things on my mind and refocus, recenter, and not stay so stressed out about everything. So it's been a fabulous thing for me. I am not a monogamous stitcher by any means. I have a ton of WIPs. I do have different quilt projects going on as well. I stitch in hand. I am mainly 32 and 36 count. You'll see some of my earlier ones are on all the way back to Ada, some 25 count and 28 count. And I do dabble some in 40. Not my favorite because of my eyes. I am 57. I'm old. I know. I'm not old, but my eyes are old for sure. So I do dabble in the 40, but mainly I'm a 32 or 36. Lately, I have been mostly a 36 with 2/2. Seems to be I think pretty much my sweet spot. 32 is definitely easier on the eyes, but I really like the coverage of 2/2 and 36. Seems to be my favorite. That is kind of me in a nutshell, and I won't update you on any life stuff. I will try to get back on here for a regular floss tube in about a week. It's been about 3 weeks since my last regular floss tube. If you're new here, feel free to go and check that out. In my next one, I have some finishes to show you as well as some new starts, which will be part of the WIP Parade today. But I have been stitching like crazy in the last 2 weeks. I have all kinds of goals. I will share those with you. I have new start goals, I have finish goals, and then I have you know, kind of in my mind, figured out what I want to do by the quarter, how many projects I want to try and touch in a month, plans to ditch some of these old ones if they don't get stitched on, which I'll talk about here in just a second. Without further ado, I think it's time, and I debated back and forth if I wanted to mix the WIPs up by, and a WIP is a work in progress if you're new to cross stitch, and I debated if I wanted to divide those into seasonal and samplers and everyday, or if I wanted to go chronological. And I had made my list for the year chronologically, so I figured that's going to be the easiest. So bear with me. For the next 10 or 15 are really just not even my style, most of them anymore. But I am really hoping to get some of these done. I have abandoned quite a few. I abandoned 3 or 4 last year, 3 or 4 mid-year, and I have literally just abandoned probably 5 or 6 more that I just know I'm never ever going to work on. They were pretty, I don't like the fabric, or I'm just not drawn to it for whatever reasons. So from my early days, I am down to 8, because I just finished one, 8 WIPs that started around 2021 or 2022. So there's only 8 of them. I'm not really sure on all of these. I think 3, actually I think they're 4 and 4 from 2021 and 2022. But what I decided is some of these are so close to completion. Some of them I really don't want to work on. Some of them I really want done and I still love. But either way, the ones in this first category, these first 8 WIPs, if I have not touched them at least by the end of 2026, they're done. If I've touched them and I still want to work on them, I'll keep them. I'm hoping to actually complete all but one of these this year. One is a more long-term project that I had started. Anyway, so let's jump in and I'll quit talking. The first one, these are in no particular order from 2021 and 2022. But the first one is called, I believe, Gnome Love. And this is from Crochet-A-Go-Go, not sure how you pronounce her name. But this one is been sadly neglected. I did touch it a little bit last year, and then it was not touched the year or 2 previous to that. But it's almost done. I think there's a couple more hearts over here, and I have to finish his beard, and I believe some eyeballs there. And he's pretty much done. So this is one of my goals for January, to get him done. And if not, then I quit. I'm going to UFO this poor little guy. But I think he's really cute. He's on Ada, which is one of the reasons I'm just not drawn to him. It's not my preferred anymore, but I think he's adorable. So he would fit perfect in my little display of pillows in one of the dead balls that I have. So hopefully that'll work. One of my other goals for January was to finish one that I thought I was really close to out of the snowball. I actually had about 800 or 900 stitches, but I did get that done during my work day at my lunch break in 1 week. I managed to completely do it. And that'll be one of the finishes I'll show you in the next one. Okay. Next project. This one is called Christmas Rules, and it is from Primrose Cottage Stitches. This one, I have no idea what linen I'm stitching on. I believe this is 36 count because I am doing one over 2. And it's just basic DMC colors, but I think it's really pretty. I only lack a little bit more at the top, and this one's completely done. I do have to go back and do like some back stitch and a couple French knots, I believe, in this one, and it'll be complete. I really wanted to pick it up in December, but I was just working hot and heavy on a couple of other things and the little bit of stitching time I did, so that I had, so I did not get back to that one. All right, so that's that one, number 2. Number 3, and this is one I do still really, really love, and I have no idea why I haven't been drawn back to this one. This is the Honeybee, and it's part of the Garden Club series from Blackbird Designs. I just love all things Blackbird. And I started quite a few a while ago. I still love them, but I'm being more drawn to more colorful, a little bit more modern patterns. But I still just love the timelessness of some of these. I do have quite a few in this series. I don't think I'm going to stitch them all together. I might. I think I'm going to do little pillows. I've seen them done all in one on one big piece of linen, and that was absolutely beautiful, but I didn't start it in time. And I don't have that much, but I don't think I really want to restart it. And then I've also seen the pieces, as it's shown here, stitched together with the different colors of linen. And I think that's really pretty, but I think I want to just stick with the pillows, even instead of the frames. So this one is Honeybee, and this is my progress on that one. This one, again, these are so far back, I'm not sure what I'm stitching on, but I'm doing 2 over 2, so this is probably a 32 count. Oh, I do know what I'm using. This is Weeks Dye Works. I apologize. They are all designed on Weeks Dye Works, mostly Jingle Arts threads. Actually, they might all be Jingle Arts. Some, I think, are Classic Colorworks. No, they're all Jingle Arts. And they're all on different weeks. And this is 32 count. I believe this one was a beige, nearly beige. I don't remember the name of it. But I love these. So I've got about half of that pattern done, and I want to get back to that one. Sorry, and I'll start showing you the project bags as well. That was one that I had made a long time ago with Lori Holt fabric, and I think it's really cute. And I did go through, I don't know, a couple weeks ago and started tagging all of my bags so I could see what they were on the shelf. And I'll show you them all on the shelf in my next video. They're obviously not on the shelf. They're all in a pile in front of me. But that was number 3. So number 4, still love this one as well. This is Autumn Alphabet, and this is from Willow Hill Samplings. Yes. And my printout from the digital copy is a little water spotted. These are not the original colors that were in the design. I went with a conversion that I found somewhere years and years ago on Instagram, because this one was started, I'm pretty sure, in 2021. So that's almost 5 years ago at this point. Holy cow, or 4.5. But I absolutely love it. I love the colors. I love the style. It's not really matchy-matchy to most of my Halloween and fall decor, but I do have some of that blue thrown in, and I think it would be really pretty in that area. So I do want to get back to that one. All right, next one. This is probably going to be UFO'd, because I do not see myself finishing this before Valentine's Day. I would like to. It is a loose goal. I'm just not drawn to it anymore. I think it's really pretty. This is Heartfelt. This was a sew-along, or a stitch-along from Fat Quarter Shop. And this was from 2022, so 4 years ago. And I love the colors. I think it's really pretty. It's living in, in that bag. They're all DMC. The design does go all the way across, but I had thought to just finish it here, call it a day, do a nice little, long skinny frame or a pillow to match the quilt. I do have the quilt top finish from this. I've shown you that before. And I do want to get that one done. It's actually kind of on the docket for this week if I can get to it. I'm not 100% committed to that, but that's the goal. So if this gets done, that's great. And if not, then I give up on this, and I'm just going to give myself some grace and say it's okay. It's that old, and I'm okay with that. Some of these have to go if they're not getting done. Let's just be realistic. All right, next, Stitchy Stars. This one I definitely want to finish. This one is being stitched on 25 count Prim Lugana from Lori Holt, and it's a Lori Holt design. Hang on, I'm going to hold it up for you. All right, Stitchy Stars. It was designed to go all the way across, and I had just taken a wild hair and decided I wanted to do it in a 9 patch. These are actually all the blocks that were charted, and I do have a couple that can fit in here, and there's really no reason why I haven't finished that. I don't enjoy stitching on 25 count, but that would be perfect for the car because I can see it really well. Here's the flosses. Sorry, they're all Weeks Dye Works, and it's going to be so pretty when it's done. So another one. I'm going to say this about all of them. Really want to get it done. I really love that one. I don't love it any less. I just wish, I had started it on a bigger count and maybe started the smaller version of that, but now I'm committed to it, so I need to finish what I have. Hang on, coffee break. Okay, next. This is a series, and this is one that I have no intention of finishing this year, but I do want to get back to it at some point. This is Snow Village, and there are, oh gosh, 11 patterns, I believe, in this one. I think it's a 3x4, and then the one in the middle is a double, which was that first one I showed you. I have 3 of them mostly done except for the back stitch. So it, you know, it's got a good little start on it. Again, I don't really care for the fabric. It's a 28 count that I have purchased when I started this, which was back in, I think, 2021. It was a stitch along that, again, Fat Quarter Shop was doing. These are from Country Cottage Needleworks, and Kimberly had started a stitch along that year. And that's as far as I got on it. I do love it. I do want it done. But I have, in the meantime, started Farmhouse Christmas. I think that's what it's called. Christmas Farmhouse? Farmhouse Christmas? We'll see when we get to it. And I would like to get that one actually done first. Don't ask me why, but I just would like to get back to that one before I get back to this one. But I do love it. It's pretty. The colors are pretty. I just don't care for the fabric. I don't care for the 28. And I wished I had not done it on a gray. My walls and most of my decor are a little more grayish. I do have a lot of gray in the house. We have dark gray couches in the den. But it's kind of a bluey gray. I don't know. And I thought about starting it over. But that's a lot of work I put in back in the day. So I don't know. We'll see. The last one in the segment from 2021 to 2022. And I have been saying this for years. Why have I not gotten these done? I had started these for my camper, again, back in 2021. This is from the Tiny Modernist, and they're called Summer Signs. There's 4 of them. Excuse me. And I have completed 2. So I have the Sand in the Air, Salt in My Hair. And I have An Ocean Breeze Puts the Mind at Ease. And they're really fun. When I had started these for the camper, our colors are kind of coral and aqua with a little bit of green in there, but mainly corals and like a dark burnt orange, burnt rust, that kind of a color. And then like aquas and teals. It's not near as bright as this. It's more, I don't have anything near me I can show you, but it'll blend with the general theme. But I've also thought about redecorating my camper because I'm bored with it. I've had it that way for years, so we'll see. But this is the third one. This is the WIP, and this is the Sunshine. Let's see. Sunshine is the best medicine. The fourth one I never started at this point. I don't think I will. Again, this is on 14 count Aida. It's really stiff. I don't care for Aida. I don't judge anybody that stitches on Aida. A lot of people stitch really beautiful things on it. I just don't like working with it. It's too crunchy. I like a softer fabric. But this is so close to done. And again, I really, really need to do this year. If I don't, I'm just going to finish these 2 into pillows and call it a day. It is what it is, right? All right. So that was section 1. Section 2 will be the ones that I started in 2023. And I have 14 of those. So hold for just a minute and I'll be right back. Part 2, this is 2023, and actually I unintentionally lied to you. I have 16. I miscounted, and then there's one I forgot about. So the first one that I forgot about, I know I had started these. I didn't add it to my list for whatever reason. I had started these in 2023. 2 of them are finished. Hold, please. Sorry. Okay, sorry. 2 of these are finished and 1 I had started. I don't recall exactly when I started it, but I know I had started them in 2023, so I'm going to keep it with that pile. These are from Jack-O-Lantern Jubilee by With a Needle and Thread. Yes. And it has a variety of patterns. I've already done 2 of these and started on the 3rd. I'm kind of, I think, going in order of the book, I believe. I'm stitching these on 30 count 36 count Patriots Brew from R&R. And these are the colors. I remember this was the first thing I kitted up when I went to Barefoot Needlearts for the first time. And I had fun kitting it up. Okay, so those are the two that are done. And then there's my piddly little start on that third one. But it's still a WIP, so I have to call it a WIP. I would like to get back to this one this year and maybe start another one. We'll see. I'm not sure yet. But they're just too cute to not, where'd they go? Not keep going with. I love them. Turn them into some little pillows. Put them in a dough bowl. Those are living in probably my favorite project bag I ever made. I love that one. I think it's fun. The fabrics are fun. They are Ruby Star Society, if I remember correctly. Don't remember. But either way, I love the fun, bright colors. Okay, next. So this was the one I was talking about, Farmhouse Christmas. And this was started in February, for some reason, of 2023. And this is where I really need to get a project board. Okay. I have gotten 2 of these done, and I started in on the 3rd. This one is by Little House Needlearts. I always get them confused. Little House and Country Cottage. They're related somehow because they're not on the same website. But I think they're family. I don't know. Call me crazy, but for some reason I'm pretty sure that they are kind of in conjunction with each other. And then here's a couple of the other ones that I have. I have quite a few. I won't show them all to you. But this is where I am on this. And this is being stitched on a mystery linen. Have no idea what it is. It's very loose. Again, I wish I had started it on something a little different, but I am not going to restart this. So I have the middle block done. I think this one is finally done. There might be a teeny bit more in there. And then I have started in on that third one. And got one more block outlined. I am going to do the border that goes all the way around it. I think it's really pretty. It's a free border on their website. Excuse me. That you can download and put around all 9 of them when you get them done. So, love it, love it. I do want to get back to it. Didn't do it last year. I won't say that my goal is to touch every project this year, but I would like to touch all of the ones that were not touched at all last year, if that makes sense. And again, if not, then they seriously probably need to be UFO'd. I'm going to just get, down and dirty with it and get rid of some stuff. All right, next. Let's see. Okay. This is the day. Everybody and their brother was stitching this a couple of years ago, 3 years ago. This is from Plum Street Samplers. I don't know that this was my first Plum Street. I think I had stitched and finished a few prior to this, but it's one of the first bigger ones that I had pulled. And I love it. I don't know why I haven't gotten back to it. I made this actually like my Sunday stitch for a while. I did some focus months on it, and I've gotten, pretty far in it, honestly. That's where I'm at. I love doing the house. The house is great. I love the flowers, so I really should go ahead and finish the flowers over here. I have a mixed relationship with the words, so I like stitching letters. I do not like the stop and start between each letter when you're working on a light color fabric because you really don't want to carry that thread. Excuse me, my coffee. I stalled out on the little ram up here because you can barely see him. So then I started debating. Some people have brought it down and not done him, but I think I'm still going to do him. I just need to get back on this. It's so pretty. So this one's being stitched on 36 count paper bark from Fox and Rabbit. And, oops, that was the Farmhouse Christmas colors. Here's the colors. They're mainly Classic Colorworks and a few DMCs thrown in. Really pretty. I love it. And that's in a super old project bag that I made years and years ago. That was actually, I believe, I'm not 100% sure, but I think that was a kit, from Fat Quarter Shop. It was the Sew Sampler Box, and it was from, I do remember it was from Sherry and Chelsea of, I can't think of their company. Anyway, Sherry and Chelsea, their fabric and their pattern, and it was really cute. Okay, next. I hope I'm not going too fast. I also hope I'm not going too slow because I do have a pile to get through. All right, next. This is one that I had started. This is my working copy from Heartstring Samplery, and it's called Sting. I did get Sting and Float, which was from Plum Street Samplers, and they, companion pieces, that's what they're called. I'm having, you know, word lapses in my brain. So this one I had started, I had kitted it up for my daughter and I both when we thought that she was moving to, I don't remember where she was moving at that point. They ended up not moving. This is my youngest daughter. Her husband is an airline pilot. And he had thought at one point he wanted to do air traffic control. And he went out, he made the grade, got into the program, and went out there for about a month and a half for training, and realized he absolutely hated it. He wanted to go back to his original plan of becoming a commercial pilot. And he is actually getting ready to leave for training here in about a week or two for that. But so, long story short, they did not move back then. They're going to move, well, he'll be in training for a few months, and then they will probably move this summer at the end of her school year. And I'm very sad. She is my local one that I get together with every couple of weeks. So that makes me very sad. My other two oldest are both out of state. So I'm looking at having one in Pennsylvania, one in West Virginia, and then one potentially in Illinois. Maybe California, probably Illinois. Long way. My baby is local, my 22-year-old. I don't get to see him as much as I'd like. Our work schedules are completely different. He waits tables at night, and our off days are different. So this is the kid that I see. Anyway, I digress, sorry. This is one that I had kitted up for both of us so we could work on it together on a Zoom call when she had moved. So we worked on it together at the little coffee shop when we went on our coffee dates for a while. And then she just stalled out and was not really wanting to do it anymore. And I kept hoping she would, and I waited and waited. And at this point, I don't know that she's going to get back to it anytime soon, if ever. So I think I just want to go ahead and get it done this year. It's almost done. I need to do the flowers on this side and the big bee in the middle, and that one will be done. And then I can start float as well. This is the color palette. I think they're so pretty. So pretty. This was actually started long ago before I started cutting my thread shorter. I mean, what was I thinking? That's crazy. I'm stitching this on 32 count burnt 32 count burnt sand from Manny to Donna. All right, moving on. Next one. All right, this is sad, and I've said this WIP Parade after WIP Parade because I never went back to it. This is called Summer Berry Pincushion, and it is a Blackbird Designs. It's from the Agnes Platt Strawberry Sampler book. And I do want to stitch that at some point. But the little pillow is so cute. It's so small, and I'm more than halfway done, most likely, but I never went back to it. I had tried to pick my own color to change at the bottom of the berry. Did not like it, but I didn't have a huge stash at that point. Because again, this was 3 years ago when I started this. And now I have a huge stash, and there is no reason why I can't go back and pick a color I like better. I just never think about getting back to it. I should get back to this for Strawberry Moon. The Strawberry Moon sale in June that Marjorie Maid hosts. It's living in a bag with some other stuff, and I think it's this floss ring based on the blue. There's more strawberry stuff in there that I haven't started. And that's living in a strawberry bag that I made a while back. Long while back. All right, next. Okay. This is one, I don't know that I'm ever going to get back to these and stitch them all. This is Star Spangled Ornaments, and I think they're so cute. So adorable in little tins. Somewhere I've seen, I don't think it's in here, but somewhere I've seen someone that made them as a garland. And I don't have a fireplace right now. Not that I'll ever have one. There's no room for one in this house. But I could find somewhere to hang a garland for sure. I just don't know that I'm that devoted to these to do them all. I may just finish the one that I'm on. I don't know. We'll see. This is the color palette. All Classic Color Works. The book is from It's So Emma from Fat Quarter Shop. And I'm stitching this on 25 count pewter Lugana, which is the Zweigart. And that's where I'm at. I got one done. And I started that and never went back to it. Pretty sad, huh? I know. They're cute. They're little. Maybe this year. I don't know. It is the 250th birthday, so it's a really good year to stitch a lot of patriotic. I love the bag that I made that's living in. That is a pattern from, again, from Sherry and Chelsea. It's actually Chelsea that made this pattern. I don't remember what it's called or the name of her company. Chelsea Stratton Designs, maybe. And I was going to start a quilt. I have a couple of other quilt blocks, but I decided to make one into a bag for this. So I did. And I love it. I need to do more log cabin bags. I think they turn out really cute. All right, next is another patriotic. And this, let me find the picture, is Salute to Abigail. This is from the book, also Blackbird Designs, Sweet Land of Liberty. I hope I didn't just show you pattern. I didn't. Sweet Land of Liberty by Blackbird. Has a lot of really great patterns in this book. And I am stitching this on 40 count dark cobblestone linen. This was my first attempt at 40 count. And I'm actually not faring too badly on it. I think the colors turned out really pretty. I also kitted this one up at Barefoot Needlearts with dinky dyes. It was my first foray into silks. So there's the colors and where I am. Again, I made this just like This Is the Day. I had made this into a daily stitch for a while, like a thread a day. I don't think I ever did it into a Sunday, but I've had different like ploys along the way to try to get this done, and it hasn't. But I do love it, and for sure this year it is getting done before the 250th anniversary for sure. Just mark my words, I'm gonna do it. I'm putting it out there into onto the internet, and y'all hold me accountable. It's living in this bag. Love this one as well. So all the bags that you'll see were made by me, except for a couple that I have from Evertote that came with kits. I've never actually purchased project bags because I'm one of these that goes to craft fairs and I'm like, ooh, I can make that, or ooh, I can make that. So years ago I decided, oh, I can make project bags. So I have made a lot of different styles. Some of them I really don't care for anymore. They didn't hold up well. But all of my later ones I've really enjoyed. I'm going to take a quick break and I'll be back. Okay, I'm back. Sorry. I'm a little fidgety and my dogs were arguing. One was the puppy was attacking the older dog, so I had to go break that up. That gave me a chance to fidget for a minute. I don't sit still well. I never have. Okay, next. Still in 2023. This is Let's Talk Stitching from Hands On Design. And I had originally wanted to do this one and the quilting one for my sewing room / craft room / yeah, office, whatever you want to call it. My she shed. Again, I digress. I tell you, I am so ADD. It's just not even funny. Hands On Design. I still think I want to do them in here. I don't know that the colors are really going to match with what I'm wanting to do, but they're really cute, so I'm going to finish. I'm going to keep going on it. So this one's being stitched on 32 count Ancient Ruin from Fox and Rabbit, and that's where I'm at on that. I have not come back to this one in, I don't know where there's my threads. I have not come back to this one in a long time. I used to be very frustrated stitching on that dark linen, and I was stitching I was like off a half of a stitch over and over again, and I would have to go back and frog it over and over again. I think after the last couple of years, doing more darker linen, getting better lighting, I think I won't struggle with this as much, and I would really like to get back to this year. That's the color palette. They're really pretty. They show up really nicely on that dark linen. Love it, love it, love it. All right, so that's that one. Oh, and then what I was realizing I forgot to tell you is, so I ironed everything for you guys. Aren't you proud of me? That you can see them better. But what I did not do was go back and serge my edges. So I don't have a serger. I zigzag them. And some of them I do before I start a project. Most I just jump right in. And then I end up with these ugly frayed edges, and it's bothering me. So while they're all stacked up out of the bags, that is definitely a goal. Again, you can hold me to this. I am going to do that today before I put these away. I am. No matter what, that's going to get done. All right, next. So this one was also started in 2023 originally, and then I restarted it. This is Halloween at Hawk Run Hollow. I know everybody is stitching this. And each one is more beautiful than the next. Some people have started on a corner. Some people have started in the middle. I originally started this on Fiber on a Whim, Hazelwood. And it's a nice neutral fabric, very similar to, you know, what's in the picture, a little bit darker. It's more that color. And it even has like the green modeling and everything in it. But then I saw someone stitch it on purple. And since I've seen other people that stitch it on purple, and I was like, oh my God, I got to start it on purple. I had only done maybe half of this block, and I was doing it on 36 count. I looked and looked and looked for a purple that I liked, and I finally found one that I love, but it's a 32 count. So I'm sadly tempted to start it again, but I'm not going to. I did restart this, not this last year, but the year before, I think. So 2024. And this time I did a middle start, and that's how far I am. But this took forever. That's probably a couple thousand stitches right there. I don't remember, but it took a long, long time. And if you look at these, they are mostly like full coverage blocks. Like, holy cow, I'm never going to get this done. I am, because I love it. I absolutely love it. And I do want to get it done. I have another Hawk Run started, and there's two more. I really want to start Christmas, and I really want to start Village. And I want to do the houses. I want to do all of them. Just all of them. But that's how far I am. So this is 32 count, and it is, let's see if I have a sticky for this. I do not. So I don't remember what it was. It's a purple. I do remember what it was. I don't remember what it originally was. It was a really light lavender, and I went and dyed over it because I couldn't find what I wanted anywhere. And I had a 32 count in a piece big enough. So I went in with more purples, darker purples with just RIT dye, and actually some gray to give it some modeling, which you can't, I don't know if you can see that on camera or not, but I tried to give it some more modeling. So that absolutely needs to be gotten back to. This is probably half of the flosses. I had floss dropped the ones for that first block I was working on, and then added a couple of the ones I needed for this one. But there's still probably that many more in my bag that are still on the skein that have not been floss dropped. So, and that's living in this bag. Love this bag. All right. That is that one. I have another pile from 2023. That was just pile one, so hang on. They are right beside me though, so it's not a humongous deal. All right. Next, here's another one I love. Don't know why I haven't gotten back to it. Midnight Watch. I do. Last year I pulled this one, and I pulled Goody Grimwood, and I pulled another one, Grimm's Haunt, I think. And I was just determined to get Goody Grimwood done. And I spent a lot of time on that. I did get it finished. I did some other fall Halloween, like newer stitching this last year, but I did not get back to this one because I was so hell-bent on the other one. So Midnight Watch, this is also from Blackbird Designs. Absolutely love it. I am stitching this on, let's see, 36 count Duxbury from Fox and Rabbit. And that's as far as I've gotten. But that's a pretty good start, right? I'll get really going, I think, once I get to the house. Even there's no brickwork on the house, but the shutters and all, and those little pumpkins. Those little pumpkins, they're checkerboard. Oh my God. So I'm excited to get back to that. That's living in this bag, sorry. All right, and that is the floss palette. Really pretty. I do like brighter stuff, but every once in a while I like things that are a little more vintage, a little more neutral. Just kind of to mix it up a little bit, but yeah, that's where that one is. All right, I'm gonna have to start a new pile to put these in, or it's all gonna collapse on me. All right, next. This one is, let's see, Garden of Dreams from Barbara Anna Designs. Also started in 2023. I have finished one Barbara Anna, and I had started another, but I unkitted it because, long story, I do still want to stitch it, but I'm actually going to stitch it, I think, more in the call for colors. But this one I absolutely love and have not been drawn to work on this lately. But I keep thinking about it over the last couple of months. I keep thinking about this one. I love those colors. So pretty, so fun. Similar color palette to the one from Heartstring. What was that one? Sting. Really pretty. They're, to me, more fall, but they can kind of be summery as well. So I need to pull that out this year for sure. Have I said that about everything? I think I have. And there's too many. There's not too many. I don't have any guilt. Super old. That was, I think, my, not protege. What do you call it? My, prototype. Oh my God. My prototype for when I started doing the top fold bags. And it didn't make the cut, but it was still cute enough that I kept it. Okay, so what I was saying though is I don't feel guilty for having so many projects because I really enjoy having a lot. As I said, I'm very ADD. I cannot stick with one thing for a while. As you see, I keep having to hop up. I have them divided into years so that I can intentionally take a break every little bit. No idea how long this video is going to be. I apologize now. It's probably going to be a long one. My guess is an hour and a half. We'll see. We'll see where we land. But I ended up, for this year, that I carried over, I carried over 54 WIPs, plus the one that I had forgotten to write down. So that's 55. No, there's actually another, so 56. I did since finish 2 of those, but I've also started 2 in the last week and a half. So I added those in. So I have a grand total, I think right now, of 56 ongoing WIPs. Again, not too many for me. I'm fine with that. Totally fine with that. I do have plans to start a lot more things, which again, I'll tell you about in the next video because it's pretty fun. And I do have plans to try to finish at least 26 and 26. I already have my 2 down for this month so far, and I think I'll get at least 2 more finishes this month, so that'll put me well on my way. All right, let's get back to the program. Regularly scheduled program. Okay. I have 2 living in the same bag, so let's see which one's first. This one's first. All right. This was my sad birthday start from 2023. Frederick. I love him. He's from Carriage House, I think. Yeah, Carriage House Samplings. And look how pretty he is. He has a girlfriend, and her name, I believe, is Frederica. And I have plans to do her too. You know, I'm all about the big plans. And, oh yeah, I'm going to get it done. I bought all the MPIs for that one. Those were my first MPIs. Absolutely beautiful. And this is where I am. That's the same place that I was at around my birthday in 2023. So we're a little over 2 years, and I haven't put any more stitches in it. But it's so pretty, and I'm actually really excited to, that's the bottom, and I'm getting close, I think, to the other side. I'm really excited to, of course I want to do the bird. Hang on, let me move this out of the way. of course I want to do that bird, but I'm really excited to actually even get into these little diamonds. You know, it's changing colors. It's a little fiddly, but you can, you know, once you have the outlines, you can hop to where the next color is and finish, you know, a thread by doing it that way, right? So, I don't know. I need to work on it, right? That is stitched on 40 count mellow stone from Atomic Ranch. And that's half of my piece of my fat quarter because it's actually not going to be that big. And the other half, I don't remember what, but I saw it earlier, so I know it's somewhere in my pile. Okay, so that one is living in the same project bag because I started them about the same time as Peace on Earth Sampler. And I always confuse these names. This one is from Cottage Garden Samplings. So, of course, it confuses me because they're living in the same bag. And, yeah, you know. Anyway, absolutely beautiful sampler. This was probably, besides the Plum Street, I think this is the first sampler I ever started, you know, per se. I have gotten further in this one. I'm stitching this one on 36 count Cappuccino from Fiber on a Whim. Get this on my board so it's easier to see. And again, I have super long threads in this for whatever reason. You know, I thought that was smart and it's not. This is, I believe, the center of the top, and then somewhere in here is the center going down. So I still have a lot to go, but I have made better progress on this. And I think it's so beautiful. I love these colors. They're not what I would usually pick, but I really wanted to do that orange house. Let me show it again. It's a pink and orange house. I mean, like, really? That's so cool. And it's a more traditional sampler, but it does have that brightness there, which I think is just as cool as I'll get out. And those are living in this bag. So let me put those together, try to keep it together. I'm going to have such a mess when I'm done, which is why I figured that I might as well go ahead and serge. And I am also going to, hopefully today, we'll see, I might do it during the game, because the 49ers are playing this afternoon in the playoffs. Yay, can't wait. Last game was, yeah, we won't even talk about it. But I'm hopeful that they have got their shit together for today. But I want to finish tagging on my bags. I started that, like I said, about a week or two ago. So that's the other thing I want to do. Sorry, this next one's living in this bag while we're at it. And this one is called Finally Fall. And it's from Annie B's Folk Art. I had gotten this as, how did I get this? This was in the kit that we got for a virtual retreat from Annabella's. It was a pop-up retreat in 2023. And we got a bunch of different patterns. This was one of them. And then I had to get the floss. I don't think any of them came with floss. I'm stitching this on Shrekie's Tan 40 count, and that's from Needle Bling Designs. I have a very pathetic start on this. That's it. I know. That's it. I wanted to get back to this year too, but it didn't happen. But I love the teal house and the leaves going around it. It's so pretty. So pretty. So I know I'm not abandoning that one. So there's that one. I think I have two more from 2023. So we're getting there as everything drops on the floor. Hang on. All right, next. Another one with linen that I hate. It's not even linen, it's Lugana. This is Trim the Tree from Jeanette Douglas Designs. This was one of the exclusives from the Jingle Ball that year, and it has since been released because I know Evertote was talking about it in one of their videos. I am most likely going to do the little pillow version, and I like it with the pink trim. So I don't really want to abandon it because I love it, but I think I may restart it on something else. I did actually get back to this year. I had decided, you know, I was going to try and touch a couple of things that I hadn't last year. So last year I had, or 2 years ago, I had that light green top of the border done. And this year I added the dark green to the top. Pretty pathetic when you look at that whole, like that's nothing. Absolutely nothing. But that's being stitched on 25 count Prim Lugana. It's a pretty fabric. I just don't really like stitching on it. The colors are really pretty though. So we'll see on that one. That one might get restarted this year. We will see. That's living in a super old bag. I'm not even going to show you that. I did make it, but I don't like it. So it still works. Still works just fine. And the last one from that year, also from the Jingle Ball, is Go Tell It on the Mountain. And this is from Heartstring Samplery. Love it. Also got a pretty pitiful little start on this. That's okay. I don't know that I love the fabric on this one either. It's 28 count Venetian stone. I don't know. It's been a while. I haven't touched this since I first started it. So we'll see. Maybe I'll go back and give it a try. Again, this is great car stitching for me. 25 and 28 count because I can see that really easily without any light. I do still need my handy dandy readers there. But I can see it to stitch on it in the car. It's kind of dark, sorry. All right, so that was also an exclusive that year, and I believe since she has released that one. That's the project bag that one's living in. Yeah, we'll see. And while I'm thinking about it with the glasses, so no judgment on the hair, on the skunk line there. I started going gray in my late 20s, early 30s, as both of my daughters are actually starting to. It was a little sparse at that point. And I wanted to embrace it for many years, and I was scared to. And about 5 or 6 years ago, I did. I grew it all out, and if you have been following me for a while, you know I used to have whitish, blondish, silver hair. And it was really long. And I thought, well, I didn't think. I know that my husband really liked it darker, like when he met me. He never said, hey, honey, will you dye it? But I just felt like, you know, I bet he would love that if I would do it again. So sometime in the last year, I started dyeing it again. And at first he's like, yeah, it's really pretty. It's really pretty. And after a few months, he's like, honey, it's just go back to natural. And I was like, really? So I've started trying to let it go back out. I tried at first going into the roots with like a lighter blonde instead of a dark blondish light brown that I used to use back in the day. Oh, and I went to the hairdresser for years and years. My hair grows so fast that I had to go every like 3 weeks if I didn't want a line. It was terrible. I fought this for years, for decades, for 2 decades, easy. Anyway, so I'm growing it back out again. So please no comments about, oh, you need to dye your hair, because I'm trying to get back to what it was. All right, sorry. You didn't need to know all that. I know you didn't. Okay, quick break again while I grab the next pile. Okay, I'm back. Sorry. Much needed breaks. Okay, next. We are now starting 2024. And this is the other one that I had forgotten about. And I'll explain why in a second. But this is the Loose Feathers from Blackbird Designs. Summer, autumn, and winter. And this was a stitch along that I started with the girls at Floss Boss and Cousins, Christy and Callie. And I kept up pretty good for a little while. And then I flailed. We started this a summer and a half ago. Yeah. So I finished summer at the end of this summer. And I didn't get around to fall, but I want to start winter soon. But the reason I'm calling it a WIP is it is, whoops, hang on. It is a big piece. Here's the colors. I'm using the Vicki Clayton Silk Conversion. I love the Vicki Clayton because, you know, somebody said today in a WIP Parade, and I don't remember who it was, the colors aren't always completely accurate, but they're really pretty. And they're very inexpensive. They come on little spools, so I do floss drop those for sure. So this is summer. And at some point when I was halfway through this, I had thought, oh, I'm going to go all the way across with the alphabet. Because I want to say the chart went to like right in here. So I kind of started in on that, but I'm not calling that the fall as a WIP. It kind of is. But I didn't like document when I did those letters. So I'm not saying that that's my start of it, if that makes sense. So when I start it this fall, I'll call it another start. I know it's yeah, one big piece, but each one is kind of a start to finish. Anyway, since they're 3 separate charts, right? But summer is complete. I think what I want to do is go ahead and finish the letters to get to winter. It's only, let's see, I'm actually right at it. So winter starts right here. So I could go ahead and start winter now. And that is kind of the plan, to keep going on that. And then side note, so summer and winter I had bought, but couldn't find fall. And my sweet friend Amy sent me fall. It's been a while, but thank you, Amy. That'll be perfect when I ever get to it. You know, I have all the silks. I did buy all of those pre-packed at the beginning of it. And that's living in this project bag, which I realized as I put it out that I labeled upside down because it was on my shelf upside down. So I need to fix that. But that is that one. And hopefully that'll be a new start soon while we're still in winter, because there is no spring, but that'll give me a break in between. All right, next is, and I think these are kind of in reverse order for the year because that's how I had pulled them, and I didn't bother to reverse because they're all 2024. So first is, this was 2024 Jingle Ball, one of the classes that I took. I took 2 or 3 that year, I think 3, and the other 2 are finished, and in fact, well, one is fully finished and one is just finished. But this is Gingerbread House Sewing Book from Stacy Nash. That's the front of it. And then that's the back and the inside. So I do have all the pieces to put this together. This is where I am. I got a very piddly start, I think because I had too many classes, and I realized that this year that 2 classes was plenty. So I've started in that little corner of the front of the house, and then I still have to do the back and put the inside together. So I do have the linen that was in the kit, as well as the ribbon and the felt. This is the color palette. I never even put this on a ring. Oh my gosh. It's such a mess. I'm actually not even keeping this in a project bag. It is literally in the bag that came with the kit. That's okay. I'm stitching this on 32 count needle Ween Beans from Needle Bling Design. I believe that was the called for, again, because I had gotten the kit. So that would make sense if that were the called for, right? Okay, next. 2 years ago, I got, in 2024, or a year and a half ago, I got the Chantel's 141 ornament box. And the only one that I started at the time was All Is Calm. I think that's where this came from. It had to have been. It had to have been. 99.9% sure that's where this was from. There's all the floss. I didn't floss drop it. I did start that though. I love that little donkey. Hang on. A little donkey beside the snowman. So I've got a decent little start on the trees, but never came back to it. This is being stitched on a mystery linen. It was actually gifted to me as a trial. Someone who does other fabrics was trying something new and wanted opinions, and I was one of a couple that got this, and I like it just fine. She ended up deciding to veer away from it and not doing it. It is a very loose weave, which could be very frustrating. Like, you can see right through it, but I think as soon as you put a backing behind it, some batting or something, it's just fine. Nothing wrong with it at all. But cute little pattern. I have since started another one out of that ornament collection. Haven't finished it, but we'll get to that eventually. So that's that one. That was All Is Calm. And next is, this was another stitch along, start along. And this one was Laura from Textile Crafts and Hannah from the Pokey Needle had done the greatest of these, all 3. I'm not sure if they have since finished all 3. I would not be surprised if they did. But I started on Faith, and I ordered from, I think it was 123 Stitch. I can't remember. I ordered the actual kit for that one. And that was on 40 count Milk and Honey from Fiber on a Whim. And that's my little piddly start on that. And at the time, as I said, you know, oh, it's because I'm 40 count, I don't want to stitch it. That's really not why. I just, you know, squirreled onto something else. Very pretty. There's still a lot left on that, so I don't know that I would obviously finish that this year, but I would like to get back to it because I didn't stitch on any of it last year. That's the bag that one's living in. But very pretty. All right, next. This is one I was super excited to start, and for whatever reason, I stalled out on this one. Don't know why. Again, probably a million things going on. A Buzz at Midnight from Hello from Liz Matthews. Fell in love with this when I saw it, and I wanted to stitch it. Again, I was at kind of the most local needle art store to me is, there's one about 45 minutes away. I don't like it. I won't even say its name. It's just kind of disorganized and old school, if that makes sense. But they're still around. You know, they do have some good finds in there for sure. But I like the vibe of, the next closest to me would be Barefoot Needlearts. And so while I was there, I had spotted Cottage Garden Threads. Had never stitched with them, had heard about them, but I was like, ooh, wouldn't that be fun for the flowers? Some are very variegated, some not so much. The ones that I have aren't particularly variegated except for that orange yellow. Anyway, I thought that would be fun, and I didn't want to do a blue linen, so I was looking for a purple. I almost did a darker, and I've thought about restarting it, but I think, you know, when I get it pulled more together, I'm going to love it. That is on 36 count lavender tea from Under the Sea. I think it's going to be really pretty when it gets done. So I am not even halfway down on just that one border. Again, need to get this out. Need to get this out and keep trudging away at it, right? All right, so that's that one. Oh, and then that's living in, sorry, I wish you could see the mess of my piles. It's atrocious. That's living in this bag. All right, next. This one is called The Briar. It's from Sprouting Lupine. It's the first, I believe, Sprouting Lupine that I've ever done. But she has so many patterns I would like to start. So that's that one. It's in this book called Fairy Tales. And this was from Starlight Stitchery. They did a box called the Fairy Tale box, I guess. I don't recall. But anyway, that's that. And it uses, in the box, came some floss from Forbidden Fiber Company. There's a few of them, and there are more. It does have some DMC as well. And this is my progress on that. Also in the box was the linen, which is 32 count weathered stone from Atomic Ranch. It's really pretty. I don't know why I haven't been drawn to work on this one. I don't know. Maybe because I just got into that phase where I wanted to do all really bright things. But I think once I get the navies in there, which I'm really not even a blue person, but I think that's really going to make the pink pop. And I think I'll like it more at that point. So that is that one. There are a couple of others in that book that I would like to start. And again, don't know why I haven't, but I haven't. Let me get that one out of the way. It is living in this bag. One of my other favorite bags that I ever made. All right, next pile's beside me. Hang on. All right, we're getting there. We're halfway through 2024, maybe? Maybe halfway through? All right. This next one, I only have on PDF and I don't have it printed, so I'll have to insert a picture. This is from the Artsy Housewife called Within a Dream. And again, I think everybody and their brother is stitching this one as well. This was a Patreon release. I actually joined her Patreon. Did I say Artsy Housewife? I think I did. I joined her Patreon just so I could start this chart. And I ordered the Roxy Floss that it was charted with. And I am stitching on 36 count Cypress from Fiber on a Whim. And I am more than halfway down here. I forget how much further it goes. Not too much. And I stalled out somewhere on that raven. But it's really pretty. I love these colors together. And this was, I think, no, this was not my first Roxy floss. We'll get to that one. It is in this year, though. I am missing one of my flosses. Whenever I've started borrowing one, I put a little Post-it on there so I know what bag it's in. But absolutely love it. Again, as I say with everything else, I need to get back to it. But that one has so much more work to do, and I think that's why I'm not wanting to pull it out, because I know I'm not going to get a finish on it this year. I mean, I could if I concentrated on that. Can you hear my dogs growling? Guys! Sorry. All right, next. Also a digital, so I'm going to put a picture of it here. This was the Lola Crow Stitch Along from 2024, and it is the Deadly Aquarium. I'm stitching this on 32 count pistachio from Needle Bling Designs, and that's where I am on that one. When I started this one, she gives you about 4 or 5 weeks to work on that border, or the frame, as she calls it. And I had done maybe 70% of it, maybe. And I still had at least a couple thousand stitches to go. And then each week, the release is usually between 800 and 1,000 stitches, somewhere in there. So I would do a little more on the border and be mostly caught up on that week, or maybe caught up for a week or two, add them to the border, and at some point I just slugged behind. So I think I have maybe 5 releases, maybe 5,000 stitches, maybe. I want to say I'm probably at somewhere between 65 and 80% done on this, would be my guess. Again, there's those colors. They're all DMC, very fun. I love it on my blue. I think it's going to be fabulous when it's done. I said last year I was going to take it to the beach and make that a beach stitch when we went for a week. And I took it and didn't pick it up. Because I think at the time I was working on the newer Lola Crow. And always think, oh, I can get that 1,000 stitches done like that. And I didn't. So I didn't get back to that one. But it is what it is. I still love it. All right, next. This is Spring Folk from Hands On Design. And she has, I forget where she started. I want to say she started in fall. And she's got all the seasons and a Christmas, if I remember correctly. I'll get that one a little closer. So pretty. Lots of specialty stitches, but Kathy is the queen of really good classes and tutorials. I've taken one in-person class from her and a couple online, and she is a phenomenal teacher. I've actually watched a lot of her videos on YouTube as well, which is where the tutorials that I was watching came from on this one. And this is really close to done. Really close to done. Here's the colors for that. I did tweak them just a little bit. I didn't really care for the dark green, so I made it a little more teal or turquoise. And I think I changed up something else as well, but I don't remember what. But it's all pretty close to what's called for. I need to do my specialty stitches, obviously, and then I need to finish the top. And I think, oh, and then the carrots. And then that one's pretty much done. I do have fall, and I do want to start fall. Don't know if I'll start it this year or not. I don't know, we'll see. This is also, though, on a really loosey-goosey fabric. I think this is more of that 28 count Venetian stone, but I'm not sure. I don't have a tag on it, but that's what it feels like and appears to be. And then that's the bag. It was living in a different bag, and it needed its own bag because the other one was really full. So I put it in this because it didn't have anything in it. All right. Moving onward. Next, this was Carrie from Tiger Lily's birthday sale from 2024. I don't think I did 2025. If I did, I don't remember what it was, but I'm pretty sure I didn't. This year, I hemmed and hawed. I had so many other big things to start, and I have quite a few samplers now, and I didn't want to start another. But it's also from my sister's samplers, and it's beautiful. So when it is released to the general public, I might get that one. But I did not opt to start it this year. This is Ann Richardson, age 9 years. I was drawn to the colors. I think they're beautiful. They're bright. And it is charted in, I think, in Vicki Clayton Silks. It is. So that's what I had purchased. I couldn't remember if it was a conversion, but it's not. This is how it was charted. And that's how far I am. Not particularly far. This is the middle, I believe. That's the top flower, and then the vase is right about here. So, you know, I'm not quite halfway, but I've got a good little amount on that. And there's the Vicki Claytons. So pretty. I think this is when I really started falling in love with samplers. I like the, you know, classic nature of some of them, but I don't always like the colors, but I love the colors. And I've since started, as I said, a few more, and you'll see those, I think, all in 2025, I think. There might be one more from this year. But anyway, so that's where that one got to. It lives in this bag. I'll put that one away. Oh, did I tell you what I'm stitching that on? Sorry. That one is on 40 count. 40 count, I don't remember. But I am 99% sure that that one is a Fox and Rabbit. Not 100%, but pretty sure that's a Fox and Rabbit. 40 count. All right, next. So I was talking about the Halloween at Hawk Run Hollow. And I think I had told you I did start another. And this is the Shores of Hawk Run Hollow. And again, lots of people are stitching this. I actually started this as a stitch along with Nancy the Disorderly Stitcher, as well as a ton of people in her Facebook group. The plan for this, we started it around Leap Day of 2024. And the plan was if you stitch 1/4 of a block each month, in order to get it finished, it'll finish by Leap Day of 2028. So we should be about halfway done, and I'm not, but I'm close. I am definitely close. So this is where I am. This won't even fit on the board. Oh my goodness. I'm stitching this on 32 count persimmon from Fiber on a Whim. And this is where I am. It's a blanket. It takes a good ½ yard, if I remember correctly, or most of it. So when I started gangbusters, and I started over here. I was keeping up with block 1. Block 2, I fizzled because I really don't like the block, and I have yet to go back to it. Block 3 is done. Block 4 is done. I had jumped down at some point to do block 5, which still needs some work, but I am pretty close to done on that. I need to do this area, the windows, and the ships. So I should be 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So at this point, by the end of February, I should have this one completed. So I'm not too far behind. I'm pleased. I'm somewhat keeping up with, and every time Nancy comments, hi Nancy, on a video when I mention this, she's like, there are no rules, you know, do it at your own pace. And I'm thinking, I know, Nancy, I know there's no rules in cross stitch, and I am my own boss, but if I have a goal and I have a plan, I do kind of like to stick to it, because when I stick with that plan of so much every month or so much every week or whatever, I tend to get it done. And if I don't stick with it, then I fall off the bandwagon, and I really don't want to with this one, because I do love it. This one is not quite full coverage. It's a lot. This one's pretty easy. That one's got some heavy stitching, and that one obviously. So yeah, we'll see. We'll see where we get to. But I did actually pull that one out this weekend. I got about 500 more stitches on that. That's the bag that one's living in. All right. Oh, did I show you the colors for that one? I can't remember. Here's the floss ring for that one. Again, all DMC. I do splurge sometimes on MPIs, but that's a lot. There's like 40 or 50 colors, so I wasn't going to do that. All right, next. This is... Okay, sorry. This is La Maison Sampler from Trelly the Spanish Stitcher. And I jumped in on this one when, oh my God, I'm blanking on her name. Katie So Tattered, that's her name. Katie at So Tattered has started a stitch along with this one in 2024, and I jumped in with her on this. I don't know how far she is. Last time I had seen a video from her about her cross stitch, she was not so far in her WIP Parade. This is what it's living in, sorry. All right, this is where I am. I got a good little chunk on that. There's the color palette. Again, way more neutral, whoops. Way more neutral and muted than I normally would pick. But I just really liked it, and she was a new designer, and I thought, yeah, why not? Let's do this, it'll be fun. So this is one of the ones that I was thinking about trying to get back to this month. I do have a blessing sampler, but I had thought, well, wouldn't it be fun to touch all of your samplers in January? And I'm not sure if I'm going to do that or do them all in September, but I want to pick at least one more sampler and put some stitches on it. So I'm thinking that that might be the one. We'll see. All right, next. And this should be the last one from 2024. And this is Grimm's Haunt, also from Plum Street, because I do love some Plum Street. I had started this right after the New Year's 12 by 12. So I want to say I started it in January because I didn't get to it during the 12 by 12. And I didn't have much. I had a little bit of the Argyle. And this last year when I said I wanted to pull some of my older fall whips out, this was the other one that I pulled. And I managed to get all the rest of the Argyle outlined, the barn outlined. I think I did a little bit more fill in. Not a ton, but it's definitely moving onward. So that makes me happy. I love these colors. Paulette has such a beautiful eye for color. I love her fall palette, especially. And that's living in this bag. That is being stitched on 40 count something. I don't have any idea what it is. But I know it's a 40 count because it's 1/1 and they are teeny tiny little stitches. I'm just not sure what that is. That might be, no, it's not. Never mind. I have no idea. I have no idea. All right, so that's it for 2024. Next we have 2025, and I haven't counted these. Let's see, for 2025 we have 13, 14, about 18, but one has been finished already. That's on my list. When I made my list at the end of December, beginning of January, I still had 2 on here that were whips at that point, but I have since finished them in the last 2 weeks. So there were others that were finished in 2025, believe me. Oh, actually, let me give you those stats if I can find them. Hang on. I wrote it down. Let's see if I can find it. No. If I find it on my next break, I'll let you know. But I do have my stats. I just have to figure out where I put them. All right, so quick break, and we're going to move on to 2025. All right, I'm back. Are you guys tired yet? I have no idea how long this is going to be. It takes way longer to film one. You know, you forget. I love watching the WIP Parade. Love it. I especially love the really long ones. I think my favorite, if I had to pick a favorite, would be Julie, the Colorado stitcher in a Kansas City world, Kansas City girl in a Colorado, something like that. I don't remember. But you all know who she is, I'm sure. I love her WIP Parades. Absolutely love them. I've seen a couple of other really good ones. Nancy, the Disorderly Stitcher, hers was awesome. Who else did I see? Nicole Spohr had a great one. And again, I call great like things that I like to stitch and really long, like lots of them, lots of eye candy. Stitchy Sarah Reeds, who is, I'm trying to remember her floss tube. Sarah's Stitchery, I believe is the name of her floss tube. Hers was awesome. I think all the others are on my to be watched. I did start Jordan, the tattoo stitcher. She has some great ones as well. And I have at least 10 more on my to be watched list. I've been watching them all the last couple of days. But those are the ones I remember that I've seen in the last few days. I will give you some more good ones when I come back for a regular floss tube. But those were awesome. Lots of good ideas. Okay, so anyway, as I was saying, I love watching a long one. But we forget that you have to organize it all. You have to iron it all. You have to put them in piles. You have to move your piles. You have to pause so that you can actually reach to move your piles and grab them. It takes a while. And then there's all the editing, of course. But anyway, so I feel like I've been at this for 2 to 3 hours. And I'm hoping that the whole video will only be about an hour and a half, maybe 2. I'm not really sure. We'll see when it's done, right? All right. Keep going. Next, Weeds and Wildflowers. This is the one I was thinking of when I said that my first Roxy floss was this one. It was not. It was actually the other Artsy Housewife, Within a Dream. That was my first Roxy floss. This was my second. This was a kit. So from getting that floss, somehow I found, you know, Roxy floss. It's available only at Evertote.ca in Canada. Carolyn is the owner there. Carrie is Roxy Floss Co. And so I discovered that whole rabbit hole that I had not been down. And I slowly, at the beginning of 2025, got a few more Roxy floss. I would say now I'm a complete convert. I started doing their clubs for the floss and for the fabric towards the beginning, I want to say February of 2024, and I'm still a member of both. I absolutely love Carrie's floss. It doesn't tangle like so many others do. The variegation's pretty. It's not overly variegated. She does have a few that are quite variegated. Most are just kind of subtly variegated, which is fine for me. But the colors are beautiful. I'm maybe halfway through, maybe not quite halfway through collecting all the colors, something like that. And I did get a lot of the one-of-a-kinds in a club that I was doing, but for whatever reason, when they switched over, I didn't do that one because I got double linen instead. I got the traditional club as well as the modern club because one cut wasn't enough. I felt like I was missing out. Anyway, again, I digress, but that was where I really discovered Roxy Floss. So Carolyn did a birthday stitch along. She has since finished hers. She got it done right before her birthday this year. So I started this a little over a year ago, or right at a year ago. Also from Artsy Housewife. I got this in a kit, and this is where I am on this. Whoops. I am in love with this. I stitched on it quite a bit last year, and then started stitching other things and got away from it, got back to it a little bit, but I haven't been back to it again since probably early fall. I'm not quite halfway. It's on Buttercup. Let's see. I am stitching on the cob 4. Buttercup linen. I believe mine was a 32. I was still more comfortable with 32 at that point. That's the floss. Absolutely gorgeous. I think I might have pulled one of the colors from that as well, but I can't remember. But that's where I am on that. And I do want to get back to that soon. Absolutely love it. That is living in this bag. All right. So, of course, once I go down that rabbit hole, I just really, I fell, and I fell hard. So next was the Upping of the King Swans. Emma Carriage, aged 11, 1870. And this is from 1897 Schoolhouse Samplers. It is on Roxy Floss Co. Temptation Linen. I'm stitching this on a 36 count. I fell madly in love with this because it's on that hot pink linen. And I was going gangbusters on it for a little while, and then everything else, you know, 2025 was just the year of, like, I was already getting into cross stitch in 2023 and 2024, but 2025 was just the year that I feel like I really, I don't know, was just wanting to do it all the time, became a true passion. So that's where I am on that. I love those like subtle, now let me show you the colors. Oh, and again, it has a sticky on it where I borrowed one. They're very pastel, subtle colors, and then you put them on the linen, and they pop like crazy on this Temptation. But to me, it's very cool how this green, which is not very bright, it's very subtle. When you put it on that linen, it looks really bright and fun. It just totally changes the color of the floss, which is kind of cool. It is living in this bag. And Emma calls me a lot, and I have not gotten her back out because I really want to get out a couple of the other older samplers before I get back to her. But she calls my name a lot. She might have to come out before the month's over. Now that I have her in my hot little hands again. Yeah, you know what I mean? All right, next. So this is the Lola Crow Stitch Along from 2025. And this was called Extraordinary Birds. And I'm almost done with this. I am on the very last release. The last release was like 2,400 stitches. And I was all caught up except for maybe 200 stitches. So I got caught up on that, and I got not quite halfway through the last release. And again, just squirreled onto something else, so I didn't come back to it. All right, let me show you this one. And I'm 99% sure, I keep saying 99, so let's call it 95. No, I'm 100% sure. That is being stitched on 32 count Ice Queen, which was one of the Fabric of the Month clubs for Modern for Roxy Floss. Here's the rest of it. I'm hoarding it for just the right project again, and it was just right for this one. So there's Extraordinary Birds. I mean, how fun is that? I love Lola Crow stuff. It's all in DMC, which is fine because there's a million colors. So that would be a Fortune and Overdyed Floss or Silk. But she has such bright, funky colors, and her shading is just gorgeous. Absolutely gorgeous. Look at that peacock. Ostrich. Oh my gosh. Love it. Love it, love it. And that's living in this bag. Has a bird on it, of course. All right. Moving onward. Get that one out of the way. So the Lola Crow Stitch-Alongs, if you are interested in those, they are very fun. They are very time intensive. That frame I actually had done, and I had it done a week ahead of time. It was, I think, 6,000 stitches in the frame alone, and you had like 5 or 6 weeks to get it done. And then the stitch-alongs, I want to say, start in like March. I have my book somewhere, and go until like August. So it's every week you get a release, and it's just really fun. Really fun. Okay, next bag. And in this is living my first project that I did from, oh my gosh, I'm blanking on her name. Her name is Amity. Boomerang Stitches. That's it. This is Ruby Throated Hummingbird. And I'm probably about halfway done with this. There's another hummingbird and more flowers. And then that one will be done. This was an exclusive. Look at those fun colors. Oh my gosh. Again, all DMC. Her eye for color is, again, just absolutely amazing. Love it. This was an exclusive, I believe, at the Spring Mingle last year from Lindy Stitches. And I had planned to start Baublebirds, but I had ordered all of the stuff from Evertote, and it was on the way, but it didn't quite get here in time. So I bought the exclusive, and since it was DMC, I jumped in and did that weekend instead. Yeah, so that's a nice spring stitch I'll be able to hopefully get back to, in the next month or two when spring starts calling me. And here's another spring one. This was my class from Spring Mingle. This was from Kathy of Hands On Design. And I don't know that I have a picture of this because it was a digital. As well as that last one, I will have inserted a picture. So I'll put a picture here. And this was This Bee's Got Knees. Again, from Kathy of Hands On Design. And it is almost done. I wasn't nearly this far at the time of the class, but I worked quite a bit on it at the end of spring and beginning of summer last year. And I still have some more of these like Smyrna Cross flowers, I believe, to do in here. And I think there's some more of the little trails of the bee. There's really not much. There might be 100 stitches or left that I have. 100 stitches or less that I have left on this one. I cannot talk. This is being stitched on 32 count 10 roof from Weeks. Again, it's kind of a loosey-goosey weave, but the color was just perfect. This is the color palette for that. Beautiful spring colors. I'm not a huge pastel person, but when they're bright pastels, I really like them. And then this will get turned into like a pincushion, like a mattress finish. I do have all those instructions from Kathy. Again, she's such a great teacher that I should be able to figure that out with no problem. And I think these were just pins that stick in the middle. I don't think there was anything actually stitched there, but I can't remember exactly. But anyway, so that one's almost done. Very exciting. I plan to definitely get that done this year as well. It's living in this. All right. Next. Okay. Next is my first Mirabilia, and this is Halloween Fairy. And this was put out years ago. This was from 2006, but I had seen it at Barefoot and had to have it. And then it sat in my stash for a long time. And I was talking to my friend Joy from the Carolina Stitchers about something or another. She was going to start a Mirabilia at the end of the month. And I was like, oh, we should start one together and let's make it like fall or Halloween and do it on the 31st. And Joy, I love you. I tell you what, but when you say you're going to start something, girl, it's okay. Joy still encourages me on all these things, and I'm happy that she wants to join in with me, and I know at some point she will, because she has on other things. But I don't know if she ever got started on this one or not. She actually had the same one and was going to do it as well. That's where I am, and I love her. I did a full Roxy Flosco conversion on that one. Again, it's missing some sort of a color, Ferntastic, so it's missing a green, but that's where I am. I do have somewhere, I have the beads. That'll be fun. I've never beaded. Not in cross stitch, at least. I have beaded back in the days of just regular, wasn't paper crafting. I don't even remember. I don't know, but I have done beads, but it's been a while. So that's where I am on her. She is on 36 count Under the Sea is the maker, sorry, and Lavender Tea is the color. Love her. So I got a ton of her done. She's not quite half. She's maybe a little further than a third. Maybe 40% done. That's the back that one's living in. Put that one away. So I'll tell you about it in my next floss too. Y'all remind me if I forget. I'm hoping to. Nicole Sporer was going to do, instead of regular WIP Go, she was doing Christmas WIP Go. And I was thinking, oh yeah, I have tons of Christmas. But I have tons of Halloween too. And I had a cool idea, and I'll talk about it in my next video because this is going to be too long already. All right, next. This is from Whilst Iris Naps. And this is Strawberry Pincushion. I am stitching this on 28 count Billie Jean from Roxy Floss Co. And there's where my top of the pincushion is. Here's the colors. Again, all Roxy Floss. This was a kit, another kit that I got from Evertote. Because Carolyn stitched it, and when Carolyn decided to stitch it, I had to decide to stitch it. That's just how that goes. She's probably my biggest enabler at this point. There's the border. I think I'm about 3/4 of the way done with that almost. So it's coming right along. I started this one during the Strawberry Moon Sale last year, and I plan to finish it this year during the Strawberry Moon Sale. Here's that bag. All right, let me grab the other part of that pile from 2025. My friends, we are almost done. You know that? We have half of 2025, and I only have 2 new starts so far, I think, from 2026. I think. All right. These are actually kind of in reverse order from the rest of the year, because I didn't redo them. This is Pink Coat Santa, and he's in this book. So that's the one on, I can almost bet you that that's a Chantel's 141 finishing board. I don't see it on here, but I bet you anything it is. But I wanted to do the pillow version and do a little stand up. So, again, Nicole Spohr, she's also one of my biggest enablers. She was doing a birthday stitch along for Blue Coat Santa. And I was like, oh, I like Blue Coat Santa. I don't like blue, but I'll do him in turquoise. And I couldn't get my hands on it. But she had suggested that we could do any of the coated Santas. So I picked pink. I did not start it actually for her birthday. I didn't start it until December. I love the blush color. That's really pretty. But that's not going to match anything in my Christmas decor, which is mainly reds and greens. Little bits of pink in there, but it's more of a hot pink. So I did a full color conversion, again, from Roxy Floss Co. because I have so much of it and I love to stitch with it. So that is the color palette for that. I did keep the 2 DMCs for the face. I have some that might have worked, but these 2 together work well together for the face. So that's as far as I got on him. I would like to, even though it's not Christmas, I would like to get him out and I want to get that beard done. I think I am going to be more motivated to keep going like crazy on him once I get his beard done, because he looks kind of weird right now. And that's living in this bag. All right. Keeping moving. I'm not looking forward to tackling this pile. Not at all. Not at all. All right, next. This was my birthday start, which happened to be Thanksgiving Day this year, and it is Autumn Moon from Plum Street Samplers. Again, I love a Paulette pattern, and I love her colors, particularly her fall colors. So pretty. But me being me, I couldn't use the call for, I wanted to use Roxy Floss. So I took the call for colors, pulled the DMCs, and then converted that to Roxy Floss. So there is my, we'll call it a tentative palette. I've used a few of the colors. I think I've used 3 already. I want to start building the bricks, but I've actually ordered a few more like orangey ready colors from Roxy or from Evertote, just to fill in my my possibilities before I actually do those bricks. But this is where I am so far. I've started working on the brickwork, the mortar, and I got the roof outlined. So I'll probably start filling in the roof and keep going on that mortar until my other colors come in, and then go from there. So I did convince a few friends to start this with me. Again, Joy, which I'm not sure if she started it or not, but I can betcha it's in her plans for the year. My friend Hannah from the Pokey Needle, and Amy Swillhart, who is on Instagram, but not on Flosstubes. She really should do a Flosstube as much as she stitches. Come on, Amy. You know you want to. You know you do. Who else? Christy Keith from Floss Boss and Cousins said she was going to order hers. Don't know if she did. And Lauren, the Curly Q Stitcher? I can never remember her thing. Curly Stitcher? I think it's Curly Q Stitcher. She was going to order hers as well. And I think she did. And I'm not sure if she started it. I haven't seen it on her Flosstube yet. Or on her Instagram yet. But I know she was going to start it with us. So there's a handful of people right there. All right. Very fun. Oh, and then that's living in... Oh, sorry. I'm stitching that on the called for linen, which was 36 count hog bristle. And that's living in another bag from Evertote's. It was with a different kit that I got the previous year. All right, Jingle Ball stitching. I did finish one of my pieces, which I haven't shown you yet, and I will show you in my next video. The other piece for the class that I had picked was Robin Pickens, and this is Joy's fault. Joy, I'm glad you made me do it. She was stitching this, and she's like, oh, you should take the class with me, and I was like, oh, you're right, I love it. So I did. This is Nature's Wreath from Robin Pickens, and I think that's just so cool. So you stitch all the little pieces, and then we're going to cut them apart. Hang on, let me hold this up for you. That's where I am so far. So I've got, aren't those colors fun? All DMC. I've got a couple of the leaves. I've still got another couple snowflakes, another pine cone, the big pine cone. I haven't even gotten to the big one yet. And then I think there's 2 more similar leaves to that. So quite a bit more to do on that. But that's going to be really fun. And then those get cut apart and backed on felt and stitched together. And I did get my felt from 123 Stitch. They didn't have the right color linen that Robin called for, but they did have the right color felt. I ended up, at their suggestion, with Vintage Country Mocha. And she had called for 32 counts, so that's what I got. All right, so that's that one. And my hope is to get that done before next Jingle Ball. We'll see. See if that happens. Super old project bag. Oh my gosh. All right, move that one out of the way. All right, this was the other ornament that I was talking about from the Chantel's ornament box from 2024 that I started. This is Frosty Bulb, my first Teresa Kogut that I've stitched. And I started this one a little before Christmas because I was just kind of in the mood. And that's where I got. I've stuck with the DMC color palette that was provided, except for, I haven't floss dropped the rest of these, except for my reds. I brightened them up just a little bit. I think he's so cute. He's being stitched on 40 count latte from Fiber on a Whim. So that's where he is. And I do obviously have the backer board to put that on to make the ornament. All right. Moving on. I'm running out of room. And everything's going to topple off of my lap. I'm really glad my cat is not indoors today because he would have a heyday with this floss piled all over the floor. I would never see it again. I'm kind of surprised my puppy hasn't gotten into it. All right, next. My second. I think this was the first animal cracker I started before I started the Jingle Ball one, which was Ginger. I started Nettle. There she is with her little mask on, and there she is without it. So cute. She was the first one I had done. I thought this little bag would be perfect for all my animal crackers because I do have quite a few of the patterns. For her, though, it's called for on 36 1/1, and I did that. I don't really like the sparse coverage of the 1/1 as much, so my Christmas ones I'm doing 2/2. Did I say 1/1? Stacy Nash calls for 1/2 on 36 count, which is what I did here. My other ones are being stitched 2/2 on 36 count. The words will come to me eventually. So there's all the colors except for the orange, because I borrowed that. And again, I did a full Roxy Flossco conversion on that one. And I'm excited to keep moving on her. She's so cute. She's being stitched on, and I have no idea what that is. I'm sorry. I thought I kept the tag with her because she's a newer stitch, but I apparently did not. Let me look back in the bag. Nope. No tag. All right. But 36 count something. All right, next. This is the quintessential Frisian Smalls from Jacob of Modern Folk Embroidery. This was a stitch along in conjunction with Evertote and Roxy Flossco. And the idea was to do one small in, oh gosh, August, September, October, November, and then January. Yeah, I didn't keep up. I did do August, and that's the Peacock Pen Keep. I haven't put it together yet. And this is side 1 of the pinwheel. I forget what not the pinwheel, the Biscornu. I forget what it's called. Something Biscornu. I haven't done side 2, so it's still a WIP. That is being stitched on, if I remember correctly, 32 count, and the called for, I believe, was porcelain for that. I don't think I can find it quickly, I'm sorry. And it's being stitched, though, with Phthalo Red. My little pile of that. And I'm sorry, I don't remember. I'm pretty sure it's on porcelain, though. It's living in this bag. Let's see if the tag's in here. No. Oh, well. Okay. So that's that one. Next, we have, this is Blueberry J. This was my first from Jet X Stitch. Everybody and their brother was doing Cherry Magpie. And I really wanted to, but everybody had started it and was so far along. And then she came out with this, and I was like, ooh, I'm hopping in right on, you know, immediately on this. Absolutely love it. Her colors are phenomenal, but she charts in DMC, and that's fine. But Carrie did a Roxy Floss conversion, so of course I'm going to jump on that. And there's those colors. How fun are those? Absolutely beautiful. This is where I am. Hang on. So I have a good little chunk. I'm dying to get back to this with those bright colors, but I'm working on another one right now, which I'll tell you about in a minute. This is being stitched on 36 count Sea Breeze, also from Roxy Floss. Again, that's where I am. Loving that one. That's living in this bag. All right. I'm starting to see the end of the piles. That's a good thing. All right, next one. I'm going to have to insert a picture right here. And this one is called Ferns and Flowers. It's from, oh my God. Let's start over. This is Ferns and Flowers from the Artsy Housewife. And that's where I am on that. I'm stitching this on 32 count Biscuit from Roxy Floss Co. And again, I've done my own Roxy Floss conversion on that one. I've committed to most of the colors. There's a couple I haven't committed to yet. All right. And it's living, sorry, in this bag. I'm stitching that one with my friend Amy, Amy Swillhart. All right, next, here's a big girl. This is from Maximum Cross Stitch. This is Jane Wood, 1853, and this baby is massive. She is, let's see if I can find it. Oh, she's like 300 something by 300 something or more. Something insane. I can't find it. 302 by 306. Probably the biggest one I've ever started. I started this for Sampler September. And again, this was a collaboration between Evertote, Roxy Floss Co., and Maximum Cross Stitch. And this is where I am. I had started in the upper left like I usually do. And I believe it was Carmen who's hosting this Sal, Cardamom Pens. who had said she was going to work her way down to this grass and start plugging away on that grass and get it done. So that's what I thought would be a great idea. So I've actually gotten a lot of progress when you consider how big this thing is. I think this is the top of the grass right here. So that'll be kind of the middle of the sampler. Here's the colors, and there are multiple skeins of many of those colors. Really pretty. Again, I love the pink. I mean, it's a pink house. How can you not stitch a pink house? How fun is that? Love it. And then with that came in the kit a really pretty project bag, a little mini notions pouch. I don't think we got a needle mounder with this one. A lot of times there are, but there was not with that one, I don't believe. And if there was, I have since lost it. I couldn't tell you where it is. Okay, so we are down to my 2026 starts, and there's only 2. Hang on one sec. All right, I'm gonna do these in reverse order because that's how I have them on my thing. First is Chili, another animal cracker. He was released at the Jingle Ball. I think he was new. I don't think he was an exclusive, but I think he was new because last year I got Blizzard, but I haven't started him yet. And then he has a little companion, the little snowman. He's so cute. So I am doing him on mystery linen. Don't know what this is. Pretty sure it's 36 count because I wanted to keep them all about the same size. I have no idea what that is. But isn't he cute? That's going to be his little beak. Kind of hard to see. I started this one just a few days ago, honestly, and I've gotten that much done. I did another Roxy Floss conversion for this one. Here's my colors. So cute. Love him. And he is, as of right now, living in this bag because it was empty. Doesn't really match, but that's okay. It's a Christmas bag. Oh, hang on. I have 3 more, not 2. Sorry. This was a 2025 because it was in the wrong pile. This one is, I have to think of the name. Give me a second. Sorry. Agnes Cairn, and it is a sampler by Julie. Again, it's Kansas City Girl in a Colorado World, and I'm maybe reversing that, but her Etsy shop is Hemlock and Rye, and that's where she designs under. I'm stitching this on 40 count Atomic Ranch Mellow Stone. This was another sampler. I'm going to put the picture right here that I had started in 2025, but it was living in a different bag that I couldn't find, and I found it. And this is where I am on this. This is my Roxy Floss conversion for that one. I'm excited. This one has that orange house. I don't know what it is with me with funky colored houses, orange and pink, and I don't know. My house is green, but it's a nice, muted green. If I ever move to the beach, I am totally going to have a Caribbean color house. Don't know what color, but it'll be something bright and fun. All right, so my other new start, this is my blessing sampler for 2026. And this is Ephemeral Sampler, also from Jet X Stitch. As I said, I've totally gone down the rabbit hole of Jet X Stitch. This is where I am on this one. Let's see, that's the top. So I got this idea. This one has been on my wish list for a while, and I had just never purchased it and never started it. And I was watching right at the beginning of the year, again, Sarah, I keep wanting to say her Instagram name, Sarah Stitchery. I was watching her latest Flosstube before her WIP Parade, and she was talking about this was going to be her blessing sampler, and I was like, oh, okay, that's pretty. And then she read the quote, and the quote is, "The butterfly counts not months but moments, and has," I can't read this, it's light, "and has time enough. The butterfly counts not months but moments, and has time enough." And I thought that was perfect. I work with hospice now, and we really do count the moments. It's, you're not thinking end of life. You're thinking, I have another day. I have another day with my family, another day to see the sunrise, another day to, meet with someone who I haven't talked to in a long time. It's all about those little moments. So this just really spoke to me when she said that quote. So I decided this was also going to be my blessing sampler. I'm not aiming to get it done by the end of January. I'm aiming to get it done by the end of the year. Here's the color palette. So fun. So fun. I might could get it done at the end of January, but I have too many other things I want to do. And Jessica has charted this to where this half is in the bright colors, like you would see on the back of a historical sampler. And this half is stitched in the more muted palette, like you would see after it's faded through time. I've seen some people that are only doing the bright and some that are going to do both. I think I'm going to do both. I like it. I went ahead and got the rest of the DMC that I needed to do both. So I think that's fun. And that is my last WIP in my WIP Parade. Holy cow. Again, I have no idea how long all this lasted. And if my camera is not on record right now, I am going to lose it. I've checked every time with every break, and so far we've been good. But again, so that was at the beginning of 2026. As of today, I have 56 WIPs, I believe. Not bad. Not bad. Again, I'll tell you about all my plans in my next video. I'm hoping to get that up within the week, hopefully. And that'll be a normal recap. That'll have not only the WIPs that I've been working on over the last month, so a few of these will be repeats. Any new progress that I have, which I've been stitching like crazy. And today's game day, so I know I get to stitch. I have quite a few finishes since I've seen you guys last, and I have lots of plans that I want to share with you. My daughter's quilt finally got started. Yay! And it seems like some other stuff as well. But I hope you found something that you enjoyed here today. I know it was a lot. I know it was long. If you stuck with me this whole time, bravo. Thank you. Thank you for sticking it out with me. If you're a returning viewer, thanks so much for keep coming back. I really appreciate it. And if you're new to me, please consider subscribing. Any of you, feel free to hit like, and I would love it if you'd leave me a comment. Let me know what your favorite WIP was of mine, if we have any in common. Let me know what you're working on, if you have a blessing sampler for this year. But just, yeah, leave me any kind of a comment. I love it. It definitely helps the channel get put out there more to more people. And it's great. So I hope you guys all have a wonderful 2026 and have a great rest of your day, rest of the weekend, and I will see you all soon.